Welcome to Mental Wellness Insights, bringing sunlight into mental illness. Today we have a group of youth coming to discuss about challenges that the youth is going through. In our society today, there's a lot of alcoholism, drug addiction, and a lot of vice with the youth. And so we want to hear from the horse's mouth, what is it that is happening to the youth today? Thank you for joining us for this discussion. We will start by you introducing yourselves, and then we will go to the discussion. Let us begin from you.
Okay, thank you everyone. My name is Ogola. I'm a youth, and we've been through what I have been through, what she's actually talking about, and happy to be part of this discussion.
Thank you.
Hi, my name is Beth Bahati, and I am so glad to be part of this group.
Hi everyone, I'm Francis Olwech, and I'm a youth and also a leader and a counselor at some extent, but I'm delighted to be in this conversation and I would like to share more.
Hello, my name is Paris Wanjiko, and I'm glad to be here to share about what we as youth we are going through, and I hope that we are going to engage in a proper way.
Hi, my name is Felicia Komboka. I'm really happy to be here because I feel like mental wellness is a topic that we don't really talk about that much. So yeah.
Hi, I'm Lydia Kumba. I'm so grateful. I hope by the end of this we'll get to have a positive impact on many youths out there.
Hello, my name is Kelvin. I'm so glad to be here. These are topics that we need to discuss and to impact the lives of young people. Thank you.
Thank you. We will just go straight to the question. What is happening to the youth today? What are the challenges that the youth are facing in the society today?
That's a good question, and by what youths are going today, it's from the background where we come from before. Because something must have a starting point for you to do it. So the challenges we are facing today, we can't blame our parents, but somehow they must be involved in what we do. Because if you find a youth engaging into drugs, you must find there must be a leeway from before. Like the youth, even the mother or the parents were not there giving him enough time or her enough time, or concentrating on what the guy is doing, what the lady is doing. Only that providing in the name of I'm giving good life to my child.
Okay, I would disagree with what he's saying, but at some point also you as an individual, you also have choices that you're supposed to, think about. So you cannot put all the blame on your backgrounds. It reaches a point where you can no longer blame them. It is all on you. So if you make a choice that, I am going to take drugs or I am going to be an alcoholic, that is you. You will not say that, my dad used to be an alcoholic, so amenipachika hiyo kukunywa pombe. It's all on you.
Yeah.
Like you are a person on your own, you're an individual. You must have to be emotionally intelligent. You just have to be by yourself. Think on your own. Don't think because, your parent drinks, your parent does this, I will also do that. Just think on your own. Just be an individual on your own.
I'm not trying to disagree with you, but I also feel like you can't take away from the fact that if you've grown in a certain environment, it will obviously have an effect on you. It will rub on you. So if you grow in a toxic environment, if you grow in an environment where the people around you, the people you look up to are engaging in all these negative vices, you'll obviously take that.
Yeah.
And development starts at a very tender age. Like from the moment you're born, you adapt things from that age. So by the time you've reached, a mature age, but that's all you know. So what happens then?
I also feel like some of the youth, they do drugs because like they're just trying to escape the reality. I feel there is no, we should foster to put up a clear environment, a friendly environment to engage with the young minds, because you find like in many homesteads, when someone is moody, okay, like when someone is depressed or anxious or something, they will frame it as ukona moods. I guess like we should just try and live out that kind of mentality. Most people, they see youth engaging in these things and they think that it's on their own ones. Some are just afraid to open up to speak their problems, because most of the people you find that they think having depression, having stress is a weakness. But it's just a genuine struggle that requires empathy, requires understanding. So parents should also engage with youth in that.
Yeah, I agree, but to add on what Lydia has said, a large number of youths are maybe fearing or unable to speak out because of breach of confidence. What she has said, they are fearing maybe judgments or what people will say, and you'll find most of them, maybe when you try to engage with most of them, they will say, I tried to stop a certain thing but I was unable. I tried to do a certain thing just to get rid of some things but I was unable, because of fearing that breach of confidence. So I think one way is just to build a friendly platform for them to speak out. And then if you want assistance, you have to speak out. Don't mind about what people will say or how people will judge you by the end of the day. Remember, it's for your own good. Yeah.
For me, I kind of have a different approach to it. I would say that as a society, it's when we are realizing ourselves. Maybe some of the things our parents did when they were thinking that they're just raising us. I'll give a very good example. We've heard people who are raised by, let's say, their uncles or their aunties or things like that. Maybe because as a dad, I felt like that brother of mine would have raised you better. But then the moment you push this child into that other home, there is that touch that is lost with the parent. And then you grow up, years later, you see people playful with their parents. You can't do that because you don't have that touch with the parent. So for me, I would say it's more like, as a society, it's when we're now trying to realize the impact of ourselves on our society, what we do, how we raise our kids, how does it affect them at the long run, what we expose them to, how does it affect them, what we tell them. So for me, I would think in the line of tunajijua as a society, so that we are at least able to know what this will lead to at the end of it all. Because, for example, we have some societies where they allow marijuana, but for Kenya, if you allow marijuana today, the usage will be different. Because at society level, we are still trying to know ourselves better, to maybe make some informed decisions that might have sustainable families.
From the comments that I've had so far, the beginning point seemed to be the family.
Yes.
Okay. What is happening in the family unit?
I think even before I get to the family unit, I think from the comments that my fellow youth have talked about, I need to say that it also matters with the choice, as my sister Bahati has said. As much as we're saying it's family, it's background, it's all the sort of things that you would wish to speak about, it's all about the choice that as a person, as a young person, that you're going to make. We have some of the young people who have been raised in those toxic families and toxic environments, and they have managed to come out successful and independent away from the drugs and so on. So one thing we need to know, why is a certain group of youth are being affected by that behavior? And I think there are a lot of things. We need to speak of the origin of this behavior, the origin of why young people are using these drugs, or the origin why youth are behaving in a certain way. For instance, when you speak about the drug issues, you come to think of their peer pressures, there is the environment, there is the family, there are a lot of things. For instance, some of the young people, the schools that they were, you see the way some of us were brought up. My brother Peter said that, Ogola said that it's a matter of the society, what we are assuming of the things. So some of us, we are brought up differently, and then we get ourselves into one maybe closed environment, maybe in a boarding school, where all of us as young people have different information concerning different drugs or concerning a certain behavior. So one, are we ready to accept our backgrounds? Are we ready to accept the choices that we make? Are we ready to make the right decisions in life? Who are our mentors as young people? Are we accepting to be mentored? I think I have talked to a young person somewhere and asked him, why are you so much drug at all? Why do you use such drugs? And this young person tells me, why do you tell me it's wrong? Yes, my dad comes when he's drunkard. Yet my mom does this and that. So there are a lot of things that are maybe within the young people that are affecting them. And I want to believe that at the end of this topic, we're going to touch the lives of these young people, and they're going to make the right decisions on I can be an independent person without using drugs, regardless of my family members being indulged in this. I think these are topics that we need to dig in and know why young people are into this, because I think they are suffering, and I can see they are suffering. Yeah.
Why do you think that, like you say, some people have been brought up in toxic environments, but they end up being okay? Some people have actually not been brought up in toxic environments, but they end up being toxic themselves. Why do you people think this should be the case?
I think this is brought up by, you find that you engage yourself with the wrong circle. That's for someone, maybe he or she was brought up from a toxic or non-toxic, but he or she ends up having these vices. I guess it also depends on the circle. As it starts from within, it also depends on your surrounding. Just as youth, we should try and surround ourselves with people who bring about positive impact in us. A very bad circle is not a good thing for us.
Yeah.
Also, I would say expectations. Like, there's too much expectations from everyone. Your parents expect you to do something, to behave in some way. The society expects you to look in a certain manner, expects you to do something. Your friends also look at you. Your siblings look at you. I think there's a lot of pressure, external pressure that, comes within us. And so for us to be able to release it, we release it in the wrong manner. Probably you go and steal somewhere, you go use marijuana, you go and, you just release it in a negative way. So instead, we just need to sit down, focus on ourselves, seek help, just seek help.
In my opinion, I believe it's all about individuality. You can't say, you can say some people were brought up in, healthy families and they end up, having all these toxic traits and negative behaviors. But I really believe it starts with your parents. I believe, because when you're brought into this world, the person that's supposed to take care of you is your parent. And they, until yes. But if in between the lines, when you were a kid and by the time you're growing up, if there's all this negativity and toxicity that you've experienced, I believe in trauma. Yes, there are people who've grown up in that environment and they've surpassed these things, they're doing well and whatever, they're not engaging. But not everyone is the same.
Yeah.
There are people who will heal from that trauma and they'll get over it. They'll be like, okay, fine, this happened, but I have to. But there are people who will find it really hard to change their behavior without getting external help. But then the problem comes in when these people are not sure where to get that help. They are not ready to get that help. So yeah, I think it just starts with your parents.
I will still insist on the family thing because first, you are a product of your environment. I believe we all agree on that. You are a product of what you see, all that. And also why I'm insisting that the family has a lot to do. Remember, when we give birth to a son, he is my responsibility until he turns 18 for the legal part, but as a dad, he is my responsibility until I feel he can go out there and be a man on his own. And we are coming from a colonized society where most of the things we do, most of the things we believe, they are borrowed, they are not us. And the fact that we are trying to realize ourselves, I think it will be more like a reality check for us, because you get to see that all of these things you say by the time you're 18 you should finish college, get a car, get a nice house, be married. That's a borrowed mentality. You know, when you go back home there, you'll find someone with maybe just a small thatched house and a wife, and trust me, that person is mentally stable than you. So I feel like the fact that for me, it's more the realization. We are realizing that some of the things we really thought are happyful, it's borrowed happiness. Because if you really want to be happy and in a good state, you have to get it from within. You have to know, does this weed or does this alcohol really work for me? It doesn't. Okay. Do I continue or do I don't? So for me, I'm heavy on the realization part. We're realizing our sides.
Okay, and to add on to what Ogola has just said, like the exposure of the youth, like what do you consume in the social media platforms? You have this, like somebody is your mentor. What that person does also has an impact on you, because you'll try to, he's my mentor, she's my mentor, she takes marijuana, who am I not? Like, it's an individual thing, but what you see daily now, the internet, how you interact, what you see in the streets, how you consume it's like it's now becoming back to you individual now, to choose wise, to be wise, streetwise now, take the good and leave the bad. But you will associate with all, but now upon you, select this one and go with this. That way it will make a better way for the youths now. And again, about the drugs, going back to the, like, where you want to find a solution. You know, currently, like, I can be taking drug, you are my mom. I can't come and just tell you, mom, I feel like I'm an addict to alcohol. The first thing you'll say,
Acceptable.
the first thing, you won't accept it one day. So that one is like, how will I come and explain to you, I'm your child? That one is again becoming how you relate with, how you open up with your child, how you associate with people around you. It's again matter to go. If you open up freely to any, like even a friend, like your youths here, I'd say like I'm suffering out of something, or even I'm heartbroken and it's taking me down, so I want to take even alcohol then. So if I expose, like, go and share with my friend, and she or you'll tell me, hey, you can go to this person, can help you. This specialist can help you go over that. That one will help. Because as our youths ourselves, even if I come to you, I have a problem. The only thing I think the youths again
It's how to do.
and the only thing they can tell you, oh, I'm gonna buy you some shorts and some glass then. Yeah.
I think the thing that maybe we are not saying it the right way. I think the communication. You asked how the youth that maybe they overcome all the toxic environments, or they are brought up in the right way, but then they end up into this. I'll say this: it matters with how we define toxicity. Because at some point you might think there is happiness in that house, because there are those, some of us who are brought up in compounds. You're not supposed to come out of this compound, those will teach you this and that. Hapa kwetu sisi ni wazuri. Yes, you might be teaching this person the right thing, but then there is the part of exposure.
Yeah.
Are you exposing them to what you are telling them don't try? Because I know as a young person, we've all grown by trying things. You tell me not to open the radio, I'll have to open and confirm why are you telling me not to open. I think it's the right time and high time for our parents to sit down and look at the way they are bringing up children. I think it's different from a long time ago, where maybe parents would assume. Right now we have technology. You don't tell me what is Guinness, I'll go and Google and know what it is. Then the next thing will be testing. So at times I feel like some parents are overdoing it. You overprotect your children until the time, because I have had my brother and my sister speak of you take care of the child until he or she is 18. But what about after 18? Because he or she remains to be a child. So what is the exposure outside? You see, at the age of 18, these were young people in universities. Did you care as a parent, after I've left my son, my daughter, what is he or is she going to be taught in these universities? What is it that I've never told this person? Yes, tell me that using drugs is wrong. What are these drugs? What do you call drugs? Because you tell me cigarettes are bad, our neighbor outside is smoking cigarettes. So tell me, why are you saying it is not good? Maybe it will cause this illness and that. Tell me the right information in a good way. So if we might be in a good place, maybe good environment, as we call it, but you see, as a child, as you grow up, you're developing and you need to know things. So are the parents in this, maybe we may say, the right environments for children, telling them, the young people, the right things and in the right way? Or are we just doing it until a certain part? And then the rest tunaiachia. Na tunasema asiyefunzwa na mamaye anafunzwa na ulimwengu. So our parents taking care of the ulimwengu part. What are we? Because one day, one time, we are going to be left for the world. At times, you see, even at times, we should seek it in a biblical way. I think we never know the day someone will leave his loved one and so on. And our parents asking themselves, if today God decided to take me, how am I going to leave my children? Will they be in the right hands? Will they be with the right information? I think it's the high time our parents do communicate the right way and the things without taking a lot of corners. Just tell people the truth.
Now I want to get us back. What are these pressures that the youth are going through right now? What are the challenges that the youth are going through right now?
Well, but before answering that question,
yes,
let me get back.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
She mentioned something like individualism, and to add on that, I would say, as much as you want to be you, there's something we call being intentional. Yeah, you've been brought up in a certain kind of a family, and you've reached 18 years or maybe a certain age, you're not with your parents. You have to make your own decisions. And as much as you're making your own decisions, be intentional. For instance, I've grown up in a partially toxic family, and I've watched what was happening. But in a certain moment, I had to tell myself, you know what? That was then. I have to be intentional with how I want my life to be and how maybe I want my future family to be. So as much as you want to make choices, be intentional. Yeah. So to answer your question about peer pressure, I would say one is validation. Most of our biggest number of youths, they want validation. Like you want to be heard, or you want to be seen, or you want to be accepted in a specific group, or being in a certain way. You want people to hear you, or you want to be heard that you were there. Yeah?
You talk about validation. Validation by who?
By
Your society.
Yes.
Everyone, your parents.
The society, the peers, the parents.
I think you can call it the whole society, including the parents, your friends. It's like you want to be felt.
Okay, I want to be validated by the society and by the peers, but the way my parent will validate me, and the way my friends, my peers will validate me, and the way maybe other parts of the society will validate me. These are three different ways. So which is the validation that you feel?
Okay, so let's talk of family validation. we are 4 sons. One is in the military, one is jobless, one is working in KRA, the other one has his own company.
Yeah.
We don't associate the same with our parents.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't
You
treat you
get?
the same.
This is a son's perspective, not a parent's perspective. Kuna venye mmoja akienda ushago, ile package atapewa atoke nayo ushago.
And let us
It's different from the military guy.
speak more of
KRA.
English because we go out of
It's the way you'll go back to your up country and get that token. It's different. If you're in the military, you'll be given a different thing. If you're jobless, it will be different. So when you talk of the validation from the family, even amongst those 4 brothers, there's already competition for love from the parent.
Also, what I feel you're putting across is even the parents have bias. Is that true?
Yeah, that's true.
You might not know it.
Even-
as a parent.
You see, you might. I think you mean that maybe my friends will maybe accept me the way I am, but the parents don't accept me the way I am. I think that's why you're saying you're comparing the 2 validations. But then to parents, you see, the reason why I'll prefer to be accepted by the other society apart from my parents, it's because from outside they make a certain environment that looks like heaven to me, but then when I get home, it's like an hell for me. So I'll seek validation from the society that is accepting me, but again, I wouldn't mind the validation that I get from home or the parents. So I think it should be the opposite way. I get the hell from outside, then I get the heaven at home. So with that, because I think you believe that's why you're saying your parent is biased. You see, I always feel that the parent is not biased if I have that heaven at home. You accept me the way I am, you understand the challenges that I'm going through, and you tackle them in the right way. Because at times you see as a parent, I've had them maybe making a joke of, this is unacceptable because my son is drunkard. You see, the moment you show me I'm unacceptable, at the end of the day, I'll go rush and to be with the friends, those who are accepting me. So I think the parents need to tackle it in a different way from maybe the way they have used to approach it. And with that, I think now we'll stop seeking the validation from outside. Yeah.
But again, to go back to what he was saying, he talked about 4 sons. One is in military, one is jobless, one is in KRA, and I suppose you are saying the KRA one is the one who is loved most. Is it that, do you feel that the youth feel that the parents also validate you according to your worth?
Yeah, that's
Yes.
true. I feel like, okay, it starts from an individual perspective to family to a society. We should redefine the meaning of success.
True.
The society perceives success as an financial, like what have you gained financially. I guess we should just view it as something. You've saved your mental well-being. That's an achievement. That's a success. Like, it starts from that perspective. And you know, okay, just the way Gola said it, you find that most of the youth, they are overwhelmed until they lose themselves when they're trying to pursue this financial
Freedom.
the financial stability.
I will add.
Yeah.
There is bias in parenthood. Okay. Not that way, but there is a bias. I'll say it this way.
Yeah.
The 4 sons. The dad probably wants to plow the garden at home. He calls the first one. Yo, I need some plowing money to take me around 5,000 to 10,000. The guy who is jobless will tell them, give me 1 week. I look for the money. The KRA will probably hang that call, send the money, and then call back later. What were you saying? Okay? Yeah. There is that jobless guy. Okay, there is that military guy who you will call and then they will send the money immediately. Is already interacting with these 4 sons, it's different. Suppose this parent has a piece of land, he wants to give it out. Definitely, even if it has to be partitioned, the 4 of you want to get a quarter, all of you? No. Someone will have a bigger portion than the other.
Depression, anxiety, and behavioral disorders are among the leading causes of illness and disability among the youth. Clearly, factors that contribute to this include exposure to adversity, pressure to conform with peers, pressure to conform to parents' expectations, exploration of identity, harsh parenting, absent parents, socio-economic challenges, and many, many more. Adults are far too busy to pay attention to the needs of the youth. It's our prayer that this conversation stirs up our minds to the youth issues, and there are many. Thank you for watching the first part of this conversation with the youth. Part 2 of this conversation will be up on Wednesday, and part 3 on Monday. Please stay tuned. Please subscribe to support this channel. Click on the notification bell, give us a thumbs up, comment and share. God bless.